morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. All right. Good morning.
See you next week. What? Where was I? We ain't got no goddamn microphones. Hey, good morning, that's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on YouTube today. Thanks for watching. This is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. What will be joining us momentarily, special guest today, NICKDTV. Nick D, do me a favor real quick. Send me an email with your phone number. I know you probably already did, but I looked for it and couldn't find it this morning. So if you don't mind, just send an email to crazyunclelou@gmail.com real quick with your phone number. We're going to add you on in 15 or 20 minutes or so. BVD will be jumping on here in just a second. But we do this show every, when do we do this? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. usually. But we've been doing it 5 days a week for the last couple of weeks. And this week, I think we're going to do it 5 days again next week. There's a lot of people home, whether you're out of work or school or whatever because of the coronavirus. So me and BVD are doing our civic duty to entertain you and regale you with tales from the stupid and that. So we've been doing what we have to do. Appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. BVD, what's up, buddy?
We ain't got no fucking microphone.
We ain't got no fucking microphone.
I was really expecting that this morning, man. I thought you were setting us up to
that was purely accidental. So I've said this before. I would say it again real quick here. For some reason, when let me ask you this, BVD. When you play something through OBS, can you hear it?
Well, I can because of the way I have my microphone set up.
See, for some reason, when I play the Good Morning song, it plays through OBS twice. It plays twice at the same time, and for some reason one of them is like 1/8 of a second behind or something, and so it just sounds weird. I don't know what I screwed something up. So anyway, I always have to mute the mic when I play the Good Morning song.
Right.
That stops it. And then
that's why it's doing that, I think, because you've got the desktop audio on and the microphone.
Well, yeah. So I mute it, and it doesn't do that. But I have to fix it because now what's happening is then I forget to unmute the microphone, and then I'm on here like this. We ain't got no fucking microphone. Anyway, what's new today?
Today is new today. Hopefully, be getting some tests back later this afternoon.
You?
No.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, hope all that works out.
Let me tell you how stupid Walmart is.
Oh, yeah, this is great. Go ahead.
So, you guys know about the daughter's stepfather thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they told her to take a couple of days off until he gets his test back. He hasn't got his test back. They told her last night that she had to come to work today or she wouldn't get paid for the 2 days that she missed. If the test comes back positive and he has corona, she has to take a mandatory 14 days off.
Right.
So they're risking her coming in there to work today for 1 day, potentially carrying this virus and potentially giving it to someone else for 1 fucking day.
Yeah.
What sense does that make?
Listen,
None.
I think Walmart is Walmart should be embarrassed and ashamed of themselves for a lot of reasons. I joke around and a lot of stuff about Walmart. And listen, I'm not one of these people. There's a lot of things I don't like about Walmart, but I'm not one of these people who I'm just not going to go to. I go to Walmart.
Yeah,
yes, I go to Walmart. Okay, so it's not. I'm not one of these people that pretends to boycott things. Like I'm mad because the Starbucks CEO is in favor of gay marriage. Therefore, I'm going to go on social media and pretend never to go to Starbucks when we see you in there every single day. I'm not one of those people, but that sucks for. Well, not really your daughter, because she either has it or she doesn't. Now, hopefully she doesn't. And whether she goes to work or not isn't going to change that. But it sucks for everyone else that's there.
Yeah.
But Walmart doesn't care about its employees. That's why they hire 50. Listen, here's what Walmart does for those of you that don't know. Walmart goes out and hires 50 employees to work 30 hours a week instead of 25 employees to work 40 hours a week. Why? Mm-hmm. They don't have to pay them nearly as much in benefits. So then what happens? The people are working 30 hours a week. And I'm not saying this applies to BVD's daughter. This is a general statement. But the people go out and BVD's daughter may have a full-time job there. It doesn't matter. That's not the point of the story. These people that work there, right, for 25, 30 hours a week because Walmart doesn't want to hire full-time workers, they then, especially if they have a family, which BVD daughter doesn't, but especially if they have a family or kids or something, they then become eligible for food stamps. So what does that mean? The taxpayer, me and you, are then offsetting Walmart's payroll cost because instead of Walmart paying people a decent wage or full-time work instead of part-time, why should they, when the government is offsetting that cost by putting over 50% of Walmart's workers are on government assistance. They're the largest employer in the world, and over half their employees are on government assistance. So then on top of that, Walmart as a corporation gets a huge tax break from Uncle Sam for hiring people who are on government assistance. So they're getting it from both ends. Walmart is. So I've got a lot of problems with Walmart, but that is selfish and greedy. To risk that is. I mean, grocery stores, Walmart, these places are already huge risks, and I get why they have to be open. But you would think in a case like this, you would think they would be taking as much precaution as they possibly can, and in this case, that's clearly not what they're doing, or they would just let your daughter stay off until the results come.
I mean, they're basically risking giving people, this virus over 8 hours.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's insane, but
I told her. I told her last night. I asked her whose decision that was, and she said it was her boss's decision, the manager's decision. I said, if I were you, I would sneeze in my hand tomorrow, walk in and shake his hand first thing.
Oh, that's cold.
I mean, it is cold-blooded, and it is fucked up for me to say that. But if anybody, hopefully, obviously, she doesn't have it. All right. Hopefully her stepfather doesn't have it, although at this point I don't know what else it could be. If anybody deserves, if by some god-awful chance she has this shit, if anybody deserves to get this because of them, it needs to be him. I mean, hopefully nobody does. Hopefully all the obvious things happen today. So I was livid all night over this.
Yeah.
And her mom, oh, don't worry, it'll be okay. Her mom's always the don't worry, it'll be okay thing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, get back at me tomorrow afternoon if this shit doesn't go well.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't make any. I mean, it's not like Walmart is a small store with 3 employees, so if one calls out, it's a huge deal.
This is all over. This is all over them having to pay her for 2 days that she didn't work.
Right.
2 days.
Stupid.
I don't know, man. I don't get it.
Anyway.
That's my morning.
I got the numbers pulled up. I'll just rattle through them real quick, the coronavirus numbers, and then we'll move on to other news. But we went over 1 million, not the United States. I'm talking worldwide, though. We went over 1 million cases yesterday. But I think everyone, I mean, even the most head-in-the-sand people on planet Earth have to know at this point that, okay, 1 million confirmed cases. What does that mean? There's probably 10 million in the world. I mean, people just aren't getting tested. So 1 million confirmed cases. We went over that number yesterday. As far as the United States is concerned in that, 6,098 people have lost their life so far. And the news is still full of doom and gloom. If you watch any of that, they still say it's going to get really, really bad over the next couple of weeks. So anyway, that's the current numbers. 245,000 people in the United States confirmed to have it, 6,098 of which have passed away. So y'all continue to stay, y'all continue to be careful out there. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not anyone's, I'm not on here to tell anybody what to do, but if you have any sense
I mean,
at
at this
all,
point, do we
careful.
even need to? Do we even need to at this point?
I'm going to say, yeah.
Should we need to at this point?
No, we
Let
shouldn't.
me rephrase that.
And I didn't. I'm going to try to get on with this quick, but I got into this yesterday with somebody. They said, Georgia's governor's taking a lot of heat for something really stupid that he said, and it was stupid. And somebody was saying, "Oh, you need to give him a break." If people really need a law to know that they need to stay home, then basically he was saying you shouldn't need a law to tell you to stay home right now, which is kind of like what you're saying. Does anyone really need to be told that? But yes, they do. I mean, the people are just. Yeah, I'll go back to the George Carlin thing. Like I told this guy, you think about how stupid the average person is, and then realize half the people are dumber than that. I mean, all over Facebook, there's these videos and people's at the lake and they're this and and they're all out in that, and so, and then the guy was like, "Well, do you really think a law is going to make them stop doing that?" I was like, "All of them, no, but some of them, yeah." And he wanted to argue the point, and I said, "Well, if you really believe what you're saying you believe, then then we don't have a need for any laws at all. Why, like murder doesn't need to be illegal then. We just need to recommend that people don't kill people. Like if you really believe laws don't have any effect and consequences, there's no consequence for breaking a recommendation. So if someone wants to go to the lake with 100 people, they're free to do that, even though there's a recommendation not to do it. And if you do it, there's no consequences. Not legal. Now, you might die from coronavirus, but there's no legal consequences for breaking a recommendation, So you do the statewide order, and now you get fined or thrown in jail if you're up there with 100 people. And this guy just, he was acting like it's not going to have any effect or whatever. And I said, well, I guess we don't need any laws at all then. Just, forget all these laws. Robbery shouldn't be illegal either. Let's
just stick to the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, just make a recommendation that people don't rob from each other, and that should solve the problem. No, that won't solve the problem. But if you make a law against it, you need these statewide shutdown. People need to be told what to do. I know people don't like to be told what to do, but people need to be told what to do. That people given an opportunity between doing what's morally right and doing what's convenient for them at the time. Too many people are going to choose what's convenient for them at the time versus what the right thing to do is. So they just need to shut this shit down. I say shut everything down for 2 weeks. Try to get this thing over with. Anyway, let me stop. I don't want to get into that. Next thing you know, it's 10:30, and I'm back under 1,000 subscribers again. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? That kind of thing. So who needs that aggravation? I don't. Oh, I sent the monetization stuff in this morning too, and also addition to that as well. So,
in lieu of not sending it in.
Yeah, I'm choosing to try to get paid in lieu of not getting paid.
Yeah.
And of course, when you send it in, the first thing that happens, this big thing pops up. Alert! Half our workforce is out for coronavirus. Still, just reminding you that it takes us even longer than normal to do everything. So, but anyway.
Just reminding you that what normally takes too long is going to take too longer.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, at some point soon, soon is a relative term.
In lieu of those of you who might prefer Snapchats, should you be kind enough to choose to help, there is a link that Lou just posted in the chat section.
Yeah.
And we love each. We love each and every one of you, whether you donate or not.
Right.
That's a fact.
And I know the super chat thing is more convenient, and as soon as I can get it turned on, I'll turn it back on. I might even leave the PayPal in the description for people who choose to do it that way, because I'll just be honest, when you send a PayPal, I get 99% of it. You send $10, Uncle Lou gets $10. Super chat, you send $10, Uncle Lou gets $5. So I might leave the PayPal thing in there, but I'm definitely going to turn super chat back on as soon as YouTube approves the monetization, because it's just way easier. It's way more convenient.
Give the people the option.
Let the people choose.
Good morning, Joey Kodo Pony. Boomer this, sooner that.
Okay, Boomer. Eric's a Twitter person. Congratulations. Yeah. What else? Oh, we'll wait till Nick gets on for this BVD, but we're going to talk about some of the worst jobs we've ever had.
Oh boy.
Which should be interesting and entertaining. I'll read some out of the comment section too. We'll get to that when we add Nick D on. But man, I love these lists, BVD. This website, they should change this name to list.com. This college football news. They got all kinds of stuff on here now, but now they got a list of what is this? Top Heisman candidates other than the obvious ones. That's actually the name of the thing. top Heisman candidates other than the obvious ones. I don't know why they just didn't say dark horse Heisman candidates. But do you have anybody you would put on a list like that, top Heisman candidates other than the obvious ones?
Oh, you mean like Jarrett Garantano and Harrison Bailey?
Yeah, like that.
I'd have to think about that, honestly. I mean, the whole other than the obvious ones is what throws you, isn't it? How about your guy?
Jamie Newman?
Yeah, why not?
He might be in the obvious category. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why.
He's third in the Heisman odds. I don't understand that, but so I don't know if you can put. I don't know if you can put the guy that's third in the Heisman odds into a dark horse. I would put him there for sure, because I don't think he's. I mean, I think realistically, anybody that's not in the top, 5 or 6 or whatever, maybe you could put in a dark horse. But I just don't see the Newman. I don't, and it's nothing against Newman. I keep saying, I mean, you could put whoever you want on Georgia at quarterback. Joe Montana. I just don't think a Georgia quarterback's going to put up the numbers to win the Heisman. I just don't.
There's only one established and known fact in the Heisman Trophy as it applies to winners. It wouldn't matter if Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it wouldn't matter who played for Tennessee, and it wouldn't matter if they went undefeated plus 3 extra credit wins. Nobody from Tennessee is ever winning the Heisman. So Tennessee fans, go ahead, and you young Tennessee fans that don't know why I'm saying this, just go ahead and stick that in your Heisman pocket, tuck it away, and keep it for a reminder if and when there ever should become another Tennessee candidate for Heisman. He's not winning it, period.
Is Tennessee... I wonder if you look at what is Tennessee in all-time wins? They're right around the 10 mark.
Yeah, I think they are.
Them
10.
and Georgia both are right, 9, 10, 11, 12, right in there. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I looked at all the teams ahead of Tennessee in win totals, do they all have a Heisman winner? I wonder.
Well,
Tennessee's got to be one of the best. Winningest teams, whatever you want to classify them, winningest teams of all time that doesn't have a Heisman winner, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, it's so bad that probably our best chance, aside from Peyton Manning, our best chance at a Heisman Trophy winner got beat out by a guy whose team only had 2 wins that year.
That's alarming.
And then, the guy that probably was the most obvious winner got beat out by the only guy to ever win it from the defensive side of the ball. So, Tennessee fans, you're not getting a Heisman. I don't care how much you want one. It ain't happening.
Yeah. Well,
even Uncle Lou could put on the orange, and he wouldn't get a Heisman vote.
Yeah, that's I'm going to go ahead and say that that's true. But according to the people over here at this College Football News, they've got 5 listed here, I guess. Number 5, dark horse Heisman candidate, Sam Ehlinger. This one's kind of strange because last year I don't think he was a dark horse Heisman candidate. I think he was just an actual Heisman candidate. But, of course, Texas was back last year, back to losing 5 games. So they've got him listed number 5 on their list here of dark horse Heisman candidates. Well, they don't call it dark horse. They call it Heisman candidates other than the obvious choices. Well, here you go, BVD. Number 4, Jamie Newman.
Here you go, Uncle Lou. Michigan, Heisman Trophy winner, yes. Ohio State, Heisman Trophy winner, yes. Texas, Heisman Trophy winner, yes. Right?
Yep.
They've had a Heisman Trophy winner.
Didn't Vince Young
Alabama, I believe so. Alabama, yes. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma,
although
yes.
not until recently, though, for Alabama.
Right. Yeah. Notre Dame, yes. Nebraska, yes. Penn State, yes. USC, yes. And at number 10, Tennessee, no.
Yeah. So Tennessee is the only top 10 winningest team without a Heisman winner. That's a weird stat, but you could probably win a trivia contest with that tidbit of information.
I'm not. This list has only got the top 10, so I'm thinking Georgia might be like 11 or 12, somewhere
Yeah, I
right in
know they're
there.
right. I know they're right behind
They're
Tennessee.
close.
Yeah.
If if not for this last decade, Tennessee would probably be in the top 5. Well, let's see. No, maybe not. Be close. Maybe 8th, 7th, 6th, somewhere around in there.
Let's see what they say about Jamie Newman here. It says Jamie Newman, Jake Fromm wasn't able to do enough last year to get anywhere near the Heisman. Where'd you read that on? CaptainObvious.com. But the Georgia receiving core should be a bit stronger. The running game will be strong enough to keep the dogs from bombing away. Plus, Jamie Newman might not even get the starting job. Will Dewan Mathis be too good to keep off the field? Head coach Kirby Smart didn't have a problem making the call of Fromm over Justin Fields and Jacob Eason. He'll go with the best option no matter what. No, that's clearly that's not true. But anyway, let me move on before I get on a rant about that. Who's next? I don't need to go.
Yeah, Eric Johnson in the comments. I don't know if you're trying to be funny about the South Carolina thing, but yes, even South Carolina has a Heisman Trophy winner.
Now, not for nothing, but the only reason South Carolina has a Heisman Trophy is because at the time they did not give Heisman trophies to freshmen or sophomores. That's the only reason. That's it. Because Herschel Walker, I mean, look at the stats from that year. I mean, Herschel blew him away. So, but everyone knows Herschel was better than George Rogers.
George Rogers was 81?
Yeah, 81, and Herschel went the following year.
Okay.
You can even look at when they played head-to-head, and Herschel was clearly the better running back in that game in 81.
Well, I mean, clearly stats don't always mean anything in Heisman Trophy voting.
Well, but I'm saying, who
I know what you're saying.
Wasn't it who the first sophomore to win it was who? And that was recently. Did Tebow win it as a sophomore or was he a junior? I think he was a junior.
I think he was a junior, wasn't it? Johnny Football.
Oh, it might have been Johnny Manziel, first sophomore to ever win it, and that was 6-7 years ago. So they just refused to give it to a freshman or a sophomore for years and years and years and years and years. But Herschel was clearly better than George Rogers in 81. To be honest with you,
we don't have a freshman winner, do we?
Herschel Walker was the best college football player all 3 years. He was at Georgia. I mean, tight. But let's just be honest. That's just what.
At the very least, the best running back, hands down, no question, not even an argument.
Yeah. Number 3, they have not running back Najee Harris, and that dude's a beast. BVD. I know we both hate Alabama, but man, he's a dump truck. He's fast. He's got the moves. I was surprised he came back. Those. Yeah, him and Travis Etienne are the two that really surprised me that came back. This year, I thought both of those guys would have gone off to the NFL, but he's an absolute beast. They have him 3rd on their list. Number 2, dark horse Heisman candidates. Yeah, you can go ahead and scratch this off the list. Derek King, come on, at Miami, stop it. And I like Derek King.
Are you sure about that, Nick? Nick is saying Jameis Winston and Johnny Manziel were both freshmen when they won it.
Maybe red shirt. I don't know. Let's look it up. I know Jameis Winston wasn't a freshman because he played one more year and then went pro. So he would have had to have been at least a sophomore. Now maybe, like I said, maybe he was a redshirt freshman.
Tyler says they were both redshirt. Who is this Derek King guy? The Rag Queen guy?
Jameis was a redshirt freshman. I didn't look up Johnny Manziel, but that may be the case for him too. Where are we at? I lost my. Oh, there we go. Derek King's he was quarterback for Houston, transferred to Miami. Yeah, and he's an exciting player. I wanted him at Georgia. I knew we weren't going to get him because he was the number 1 transfer QB on the market. and no one in that situation is coming to Georgia, but he's not winning the Heisman at Miami. I mean, that's potato on its face. That's just not happening. And like I said, I like Derek King. He's a less talented version of Kyler Murray. He's 5'9", 5'10", something like that. Runs around. You know, he could throw.
No true freshman has yet won the Heisman Award.
Right.
Johnny was a red shirt.
Who was the first sophomore to win it? I wonder. I'm going to Google it.
That might have been Jameis.
To win Heisman.
You think we'll ever see a two-time winner again?
Tim Tebow was the first sophomore to win the Heisman.
We ever going to see a two-time winner again?
I don't think so. Not with players. Not with players leaving after their junior year. I don't think so.
I don't think we will either. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that hasn't been around. A lot of people think that's been the case forever, but that's only been the case for, 25 years that you could leave after your junior year? You used to have to stay in college all 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Herschel went pro after his junior year? That's why he went to the USFL. He couldn't go to the NFL.
There has been a two-timer, Joey. Archie Griffin, Ohio State.
Yeah. Who's next here? So Derek King is 2. So who do they think is the number 1 dark horse Heisman candidate? Oh, this does make sense. Spencer Rattler. I think he deserves to be on the list if you just look at the numbers that it seems like any Oklahoma QB can put up. Even though Spencer Rattler's never started a game, it makes sense, I think, to have him on the list. Oklahoma QB Spencer Rattler. I mean, he's going to put up ridiculous numbers. I mean, the offense that they run, the league they're in.
Yeah.
So.
Starting week 3, of course.
Right. Tennessee's going to shut them down.
We got the anti-venom.
Hashtag SEC. SEC. I tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not making a hype and hate video for the Tennessee-Oklahoma game just so I can be let down again like I was last year when I went to bat for you guys against BYU. That was probably the best hype and hate video I made all year. It wasn't even for Georgia. It's for Tennessee versus BYU.
Why'd you make a hype and hate video for that game anyway? You deserve to be let down.
I thought y'all were going to win, and I don't know why you're laughing. You thought you were going to beat Vandy in 2017.
I'm not laughing. I'm not even laughing.
You were all on video talking about how you were going to beat Vandy back in 2018, and I'm like, what?
The hell, I talk about how we're going to beat everybody every year. What are you talking about,
Luke? This guy. Well, then don't act surprised that I thought Tennessee was going to beat BYU.
No, I just don't understand why you made a hype and hate video for it.
To try to save General Valtard's life.
Okay.
He was on the edge.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he was teetering on the edge after Georgia State, and I said, well, I'll make a hype and hate video. And
man, 16 more seconds, and we'd still have General Valtard.
Yeah, yeah. Instead, he's dead and gone. So
damn,
never to be heard from again.
Do we blame that one on the eyebrow or the defensive guy that was completely and totally way out of position on that play?
As far as YouTube purposes, I have to blame Pruitt.
Okay.
Yeah. It's no point in blaming the guy that no one even knows his name, like that won't be there. I don't even know if he's there now, but eventually he won't. But Pruitt's still there, so I can still, use that to needle people by blaming Pruitt.
Yeah, it's never the player's fault anyway.
Right. These are just kids, BVD. They shouldn't even keep score, to be honest.
Yeah, it's their first year. College is their first year ever playing the game, so there should be a little more understanding.
I do remember hearing that. Let me get what's his name, NICKDTV's number. Let's see if he emailed me.
The couch burner.
Yeah, well, we got some questions for him, don't we? Burning all them couches. You know what I still don't know? Do they burn couches when they win or when they lose? Do they burn couches because they're happy or because they're mad?
I think they. I think
ask
it's.
him.
I think it's there. There's no West Virginia law on that. I think you can burn a couch anytime you want to.
But tradition-wise, like as far
Yeah.
as the students at West Virginia, is it one way or the other? I mean, that might be the first question we need to ask him.
Yeah. So Google that real quick, Nick, before we get a hold of you.
Are you suggesting he doesn't know?
No, no. I'm
Okay.
just yeah.
Okay.
When I do that,
Okay, Willie Taggart,
stinger.
the Steve Urkel of college football.
Yes.
All right, let me add him on real quick. BVD. We'll be right back. Then we'll
Gotcha.
get you added.
Time to go refill.
Yeah, that's right. 7-3. All right, let's see if this works. See how the phone lines are in West Virginia today. West by God, Virginia. It's God's country.
Yeah, hi. Could I get a medium cheese pizza?
Now see, now I'm fixing to be aggravated now. No,
Why is that?
he's not coming on.
What happened?
I don't know if he was kidding around, but he just picked the wrong joke. So where's he at in the comments too? Because he just lost his mod too. That's just too elementary for. Too elementary.
He did not go there.
No, he didn't scream the N-word. He tried to order a pizza. He tried to order a pizza. Let's do that. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Disappointed
Way
in
to
you,
go.
Nick. I'm not sure what you did, buddy.
Way to go, Nick.
Not sure what happened there. Anyway, worst job, or well, yeah. In the comment section, I'm just curious. What's the worst job you've ever had? I'll name every job I've ever had. I don't see which one of them were worse or not. I think you mentioned I think you mentioned one time to work, didn't you? Wasn't it you who said you got a job or something somewhere one time and you went like one day and you're like, that's it, I'm never coming back here or something?
Yeah. 4 hours even. Couple of those actually. Bagging groceries at Food Line was one of them. And the other was commercial rooftop. And I got a suggestion, Lou.
Yeah. Nick, we'll reschedule you. That was just what is it?
Bad timing, maybe.
Well, bad timing, and you just should have known better than to do that. So, but
my suggestion was,
add you back.
we forgave Ballard for that retarded ass thing he did.
Yeah, I'm not kicking him off for bad mouthing him, but I'm also not gonna try to add somebody to the morning show and the first thing they do is go. You'll have to listen to it back because I know you couldn't hear it. But I'm also not going to add someone to the morning show who the first thing they say is, or cheese pizza. I'm also not going to do that. So, because I hear what you're saying now that you were joking, but how do I know that? So that's why you got hung up on. Because how do I know that? See, on the nighttime show, I'm ready and prepared for that kind of thing, and my finger's on the mute button. And I was 14-0 last night versus the Trolls. But see, on the morning show, I don't have to worry about all that. So when I have a moderator that emails and wants to be on the morning show, and we set it up and we tell him what day he's coming on, and I call to add him to the show, and the first thing he does is talk like some kind of stone to Mickey Mouse with the I want or cheese pizza. I don't have to. I don't need. What I'm saying is I don't need that aggravation in the morning. I don't need to be spending the morning shows trying to figure out now if I'm being trolled or not. I do that every Tuesday and Thursday night, and I go into those shows knowing that it's a state of mind I have to be in. I don't want to have to be in that state of mind on the morning show. So unfortunately, you were a casualty of that. But we
Didn't
will
you
add
have
you
a
back
mod
on
that
another
turned
day.
out to be a troll, Lou?
That was Ultimate Troll. Yeah. But don't worry. You won't see him around here anymore. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. You won't see him. I can assure you of that. That was his mother that I talked to, by the way. I guess maybe I didn't make that clear, but yeah, it was his mother I talked to, and I can guarantee you won't be. Speaking of which, I think I typed this in the beginning, but Uncle Lou Troll Bounty 2020 though, I'm paying $100 to anybody that can send me verifiable identity and location info on any of the Dirty Underwear gang. It's got to be verifiable. I need real name and actual. I need real name, real location. Real phone. Basically, you've got to provide me enough information to find their parents. That's what you have to do, and I will pay you $100. Uncle Lou, Troll Bounty 2020. So yeah, maybe one of the Dirty Underwear gang looking to make some money and wants to, wants to become a government witness. Email me, crazyunclelou@gmail.com if you want some early Christmas money or whatever the case. I will pay you $100 for that verifiable info.
Speaking of upsetting actions by West Virginia type folk, I was looking up the couch burning thing, and apparently times have changed in Morgantown. Legislation by local lawmakers has made, get this, malicious burning a felony. The university takes internal action against students charged with couch burning.
You know, I think I remember here. I think I remember that now. I think they still do it though.
Oh, of course. I mean, can they really find somebody for burning a couch in their backyard?
You know what? You know that show Live PD?
Yeah.
I love that show, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, me and Mrs. Lou was watching that show one night, and the police got a domestic call, and they show up, and I don't remember if the couple was married or just lived together or what the case was or whatever, but all the guy had done, okay, he hadn't threatened the lady, he hadn't touched the lady, he hadn't hit her, slapped her, choked her, pushed her, nothing, and the lady said that. He hadn't threatened her in any way, but he did break several items in his own house. His own items. His own, I think he maybe a coffee table or something he tipped over or something. Broke his own stuff. They arrested him for
breaking his own shit.
Yeah, and they made up something and called it something, and I don't know, I had a problem with that. I mean, I've been known to break a few TVs out here. Is that against the law? I can't break my own TV. It really made me mad.
That shows up. I didn't know you could get arrested for telling a cop "fuck you." Apparently, you can.
But
I mean, it depends on the mood of the cop, I guess, and the situation.
No judge is going to find you guilty if that's the only. Would they try to charge him with disorderly conduct?
Something like that.
I don't like that either. It's like, and I'm not anti-cop, but you do, cops show up sometimes, and
it was
you
actually
can tell
on
the cop just gets
live
mad.
PD that I saw that too.
Yeah, a cop gets mad, can't find an actual crime, so he just charges you with disorderly conduct. That's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Well, things like that are why we have so many people in this country that are against cops no matter what, I know one person that there's no cop ever did any good ever,
Nick, don't worry about it. It's fine, Nick. You just have to put yourself in my shoes too. I can't be wondering on the morning show now and yet, it's not, you've never been a guest on here before. I really don't know you from Adam's House Cat. So, when I call you and the first thing you do is an ordering a pizza joke to the house, so you have to put yourself in my shoes too. I get that you didn't mean it. I know it was just a joke and all that, but you got to put yourself in my shoes. I can't be dealing with that kind of thing on the morning show after having dealt with it every night show for 6 months. I can't. Okay. Plus all the stuff that goes on because of those trolls when I'm not even on YouTube. This isn't something that happens to me 1 hour every Tuesday night and 1 hour every Thursday night with these trolls. Okay, it's 24 hours a day, and it doesn't stop. So I just can't. You have to understand where I'm coming from too. So I'm not mad at you, sir. And I know you were joking and kidding and all that. It just was a terrible joke, to be honest. So that's just what happened. But worst jobs. Now, so I do remember that, right? I don't remember what we were talking about, and you mentioned one time. But what job was that? You said like you went to it one day. It even paid pretty well or something, but you looked around and you saw something, or they wanted you to do something or something, and you were like, "That's it. I'm never coming back here again."
The two that come to mind, like I said, were bagging groceries at Food Line. The one that really sucked that paid good was the commercial roofing.
That's what it was, the commercial roofing you were talking about.
Yeah. 4 hours. The guy told me, go take lunch. I left and took lunch and never came back. Didn't even go get my check for the 4 hours. I was like, screw this. I don't want to even have to walk up on that damn roof to get my check if I have to.
What was it? The heat?
Oh, the heat, it was miserable, man. Slinging hot tar around on a hot ass roof in the middle of summer in Raleigh, North Carolina with a mop. And
if it's 95 degrees outside, it's 125 degrees on a roof, a black tar roof.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
That day, I got a massive respect for those guys that lay tar in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see them out there even on their steamrollers with their umbrellas, and that's all they've got for protection. No, hell no. No.
Now,
the worst job. Go ahead.
What was it about Food Line that was so bad?
Probably the fact that I think at the time I was like maybe 16, 17, something like that.
No, so almost any job would have been bad.
Yeah.
I worked at a grocery store, not for long, though, for, I don't know, maybe a year, I think, while I was in college. I worked at Bilo. I ran a register for the first little bit of time I was there, and then I worked at some behind the customer service booth, like selling lottery tickets and money orders and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't mind it. But, a lot of jobs, though, now the roofing job, I don't think it matters who you work with. That's probably just a bad job. But some jobs, like if you like the people you work with, the job can be great. Or if you work with some assholes or people you don't like, the job, like sometimes it doesn't even have to necessarily do with the job. Like I enjoyed my time at Bilo, but I liked all the people I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
That has a lot to do with it too. I think, but yeah, that wasn't bad. I didn't mind that much. I thought I might have started bagging. Did I start as a bagger? I might have started as a bagger, but if I did, it wasn't for long. And then I was on the register and then customer service. But that was only for about a year, I think. They ended up closing the store down where I was at, and they moved everybody to different stores. And so then I was working with all new people, and I was like, yeah. And that's when I ended up going to work for Alltel, I think, after that.
I've had a ton of bad jobs.
I haven't had that many. Most of the jobs I've had, I've enjoyed. There was one job when I was in high school. I think it was my senior year. I had a friend who had an older brother who was like a warehouse manager or something at some big furniture store in town. And I went to work there. And it was like they hired me, but they didn't have anything for me to do. It was almost like a favor, maybe. They're like, well, we'll hire him, and then we'll figure out what it is we need him to do. And a lot of days I would go there, and so it wasn't even that it was a bad job so much as that it was almost like it was no job. Like I remember some days I would go, and they would just hand me a camel hair brush, and they would be like, well, just walk through the showroom, and if you see a hair or something on a piece of furniture,
that your only
just brush
furniture
it off.
job?
Yeah.
I guess furniture delivery was probably the first, I guess you could say, quote unquote, good job I ever had. I mean, it paid $3.35 an hour, but we're talking back in 1985. So
Yeah, I think when I started working, so this would have been in high school, I guess. So mid to late 90s, minimum wage was $4.25 an hour. What is it now?
I don't even know,
Is
to
it
be
seven
honest.
something now?
How much?
I think it's seven something minimum wage.
I,
I
I,
think.
it, I thought I heard David out in Oregon say it's like nine something out there. I don't know if it varies
Well,
from
some
state to
states
state.
there's a minimum federal there's a federal minimum wage, and states can choose to pay higher than that if they want to. But I think the federal minimum
Okay.
wage is $7.25 an hour, and usually the way it
That's
works is the conservative states go by the federal minimum wage, and the liberal states will have a little bit higher minimum wage.
ain't nobody making a living on $7.25 an hour and supporting themselves, even themselves, on their own. It's just not possible in this day and age. So I
Yeah.
don't know what they're thinking.
Now, the first job I said the furniture thing was my first real job. That was the first real job where like I got a paycheck and taxes were held out and all that kind of thing. But prior to that, like ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, the baseball field where I grew up playing, basically, it was a little league. It wasn't a rec department thing. It was through the little league. Anyway, I went to work for that little league. I didn't coach, at least not right away, but I would, before the games would start, I would go down there and line the fields, and they had like a golf cart with I don't even know what it is. I don't know enough about baseball to know what it's called, but they drag the infield. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you like drive a golf cart around, and it's got this metal grate hanging off the back of it, and you basically do donuts in the infield, and it
Pretty much. Yeah.
levels out the dirt or whatever in the infield. Like I would go out, I would do that. I would rake the pitcher's
Yeah.
mound, rake the home plate area, line the fields before
Yeah.
the games
On
every
the
afternoon. Yeah.
on the really shitty city park fields, all it does is bring the rocks to the top of the surface.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And but that wasn't like I wasn't getting a paycheck. Like that was the thing. Like I would go down there at like right after school, 4:00 or whatever, and I would do all that on the 3 or 4 fields, whatever there was, and then the guy that ran the league would come and give me $30 or something,
Hey,
whatever it was. I don't even
Can
remember.
can you guys get off of Nick's ass in the comments, please? The ones that beat it are. He thought he would. He look. The dude was trying to make a joke. It was just bad timing. That's all. We still love Nick. He's going to be back on. Just bad timing. That's all.
Yeah,
Nick,
as soon as the show's over today, the calendar's inside, but or maybe BVD has it. Whatever the next
13th, man. We can get you on. That's our first open day. Is Monday the 13th.
All right, let us know in the comments if that's good with you, Nick, the 13th, and we'll have you back on. But next time when I call you and I say, good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou, just reply with good morning or something like that.
Yeah, so if you're good with the 13th, Nick, we got you.
Yeah, so I went down there and did all and would work on the baseball fields like that. And then it was either the second or third baseball season I was doing that. They started a new league down there. So it used to go like you would play T-ball for a couple of years, then you would play what they called minor league, then you would play little league. Well, they added a league in between T-ball and minor league, a coach pitch. They called coach pitch was the name of it. And they started a league, and they had like 6 teams, but they only had 5 coaches. They needed a 6th coach. So they ended up paying me like $500 or something to coach that one team that didn't have a coach. So that was technically that was like literally the first thing I'd ever done to earn money that wasn't like allowance from my parents. So I guess that was technically a job, even though I wasn't really getting a paycheck and all that. But that was the first thing where, like, okay, I had to be there at 4 o'clock on this day to do that and everything like that. And that was fun, working down at the baseball. I mean, I knew everybody down there. I'd basically grown up on those baseball fields. So that was fun. And then it seems like I did something else, too. Oh, I'll tell you the worst job. I don't know. I can't believe I didn't think of this. I tell you 100% the worst job I ever had, without question. I think it was the summer after my first year in college. I don't remember if I was dating this girl or I was just friends with her or what, but she had worked at the Y for a long time. And they had a summer camp at this Y for kids. Your parents have to work still, and so instead of leaving you at home, your parents would send you to this camp at the Y Monday through Friday. And they were hiring for camp counselors. And this, I don't remember. I think I was dating this girl at the time. And anyway, she had been working at the Y for a long time. And she was like, you should apply for the camp counselor job. She was like, it's easy. It's fun. You're basically swimming and playing outside all summer long and getting paid for it. I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I applied for the job, got the job, and I became a camp counselor for 7 and 8-year-old kids at the Y for the summer. And the job wasn't all that bad, really. It's kind of like, if you know any teachers, they'll tell you, it's like, I love the job, but it's dealing with some of the kids or even some of the kids' parents that is so hard to do. It's not the teaching, it's the personalities you have to deal with. But I got to be careful, too, because they might still be following me around. But there was these two brothers, and they were hell on earth. The worst kids. And I didn't have much more patience when I was 20 than I do now. And we were outside doing something one day, and they were picking up rocks off the ground and throwing them. Now, they weren't necessarily throwing them at other kids, but there's 100 kids out here running around. Throwing rocks not a good idea. So I told them, I said, hey, y'all quit throwing them rocks, Somebody's going to get hit, and, you'll put your eye out, that kind of thing. And you turn around 5 minutes later, one of them's got a rock in his hand. Oh, I wasn't going to throw it. Yeah, I was born yesterday, too. I said, I'm serious, don't do it again. Same thing. 5 minutes later, you turn around, they're throwing rocks again. This is in a grassy field outside. I made them sit down, Indian style, with their hands under their butt. You ever had to do that when you were a kid? Oh,
yeah.
All the time for me.
I think we all,
all the time.
All
I
of
do
us.
that. Sit on your hands. If you can't keep your hands to yourself, then sit on them. That's what I made them do. Sit Indian style over there in the grass on your hands. I made them sit there for maybe 20 minutes or whatever, and then it was, the rest of the day went on like nothing was wrong. I get to work the next day. These kids' parents is up there. They are raising all kinds of. The kids weren't there, just the parents were there. Our kids' sons were forced to sit on their hands. What kind of torture is this? Their hands were blistered from the hot grass.
That's a new one.
We want him fired. And I'm thinking, what? And then they made me leave the little office room or whatever, and they talked to the parents, and the parents left, and they called me back in there, and they were like, you can't do that, blah, 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 I was like, look, this is ridiculous. The next day, the lawyers from the YMCA corporate office in Chicago, I had to go sit on a conference call with the lawyer. They were trying to sue the Y for me making those two kids sit on their hands. And anyway, I didn't get fired. I worked out the rest of the summer or whatever, but I said that. See if I ever take that chance again working with some punk-ass kids. But these were a couple of rich kids that, they lived out in what, I could say the name of the neighborhood, but it wouldn't matter. No one would know what I was talking about. But I was just, you got to be kidding me. And, of course, they were right back. Now, keep in mind, this happened in the middle of the day when I made them sit on their hands. The whole rest of the afternoon, they played basketball and whatever else and was using their hands like nothing was wrong. They never made one mention that their hand was hurt and this and that. And then the next day when they came back, there was no marks on their hands. Basically, those kids had never been punished or disciplined in their entire life. I made them sit on their hands. They went
And they
home,
probably
cried to
got
their parents.
embarrassed.
Yeah, they went home, cried to their parents,
Yeah.
and their parents came up. How dare you? My kids would never do anything wrong. How dare you make them sit on their hands? It was a
And you
bunch of
said this happened
BS.
at the Y?
It happened at the Y. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a Y story for you real quick.
All right, let's hear it.
I'll never go back to the Y here as long as the same asshat's running it. It's been I don't know 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. My daughter had a membership up there, and with her mom, she took one of her little friends up there one night. I took them up, dropped them off. A couple hours later, I get a call. And I go up there and pick them up, and they had went into the bathroom, and the little girl that she took with her, quote unquote, found a Sharpie somewhere there and drew a bunch of shit on the bathroom stall. Some woman caught them, and I say them because my daughter was in there with them. They both got taken down to the office at the Y, and the director of the Y, basically about got his ass kicked by BVDs. What that happened, but of course I was mad because I thought Kayla had taken part in it. So I fussed her out, and she was crying, swearing she didn't do it. And my daughter, to my knowledge, had never lied to me. And so I took her back down. I took this little girl back down there too, to the director a couple days later, and sat in his office. And I said, look, my daughter didn't partake in this action. I said it was all, I'm not going to say the little girl's name. It was all little Sally here, and little Sally owned up to it, said Kayla didn't have anything to do with it. And the guy still suspended my daughter from coming to the Y for a month. And I said, why are you suspending my daughter? Well, she should have known better. She should have came and told me. I was like, you're
Wow.
serious, aren't you, dude? I said, you really think a fucking 12-year-old girl is going to come into the director's office of the Y and say, hey, my best friend my friend just drew on the bathroom stall. You really think? I had to walk out. I was getting ready to punch the guy. I
Jeez.
grabbed both of them, took the girl back to her house, told her parents what was happening. They wore her ass out
I bet.
right there in front of me. And I don't think Kayla's been back to the Y since then. So yeah, that's the closest in a long time I'd ever come to punching a guy out. And this guy's a big wheel here in town. He's one of the upper crust guys here in town.
Yeah.
He can pretty much blow me. So yeah, that's my why story, or my why not story.
Why not?
Yeah.
Celine Driver, thank you for hitting that PayPal link, buddy. He says, all right, he lists out his worst jobs here. This should be interesting. He says, worst jobs, bagging groceries. You ever gone out to get shopping carts out of the parking lot in 100-degree heat? Yeah, that is miserable. Nowadays they have those motorized things. You seen these in the grocery store parking lots, BVD?
Just at Walmart around here is the only place that has them.
That might be the only place here too. Now that you think of it, but man, they can line up like 100 carts on that thing, and then all they have to do is basically steer it with a remote control.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So
Speaking of shitty grocery store jobs, actually the last job that I had before the disability thing was at a grocery store again. I was stocking, overnight stocking from 11 in the morning until like 11 at night till 7 in the morning. And I don't know how hard of a job that would be for somebody that's healthy, but for a dude with 3 back surgeries, bad knees, that was probably physically the worst job I ever had. I mean, they wouldn't let you, like, when you stock down on the bottom row, I would literally have to get down on my knees or sit on a box to stock down there. They wouldn't let you do that. Weren't allowed to get down on the ground. I was like, dude, the shelf is 6 inches off the ground. I wasn't an old man, but pretty beat up. I did that for several months, and finally I was like, you know what, screw this.
Not worth it.
That's a young man's job right there.
Yeah. Grocery store. Where else did? So grocery store. What if you went outside and BVD was roofing your neighbor's house?
Well, that wouldn't happen because BBD's scared of heights.
You ever had a job where you had to wear a tie?
I don't believe so.
No.
That's a good question. I have to think about that. I don't think so.
Celine Driver says he also detailed cars doing wheel wells and steam cleaning engines in that same 100-degree heat, and he was a busboy and a waiter at a brown derby. I don't know what that is, brown derby. Went home smelling like a bad kitchen, he says.
Dude.
What's a brown derby? You ever heard of that, BB?
I think I've heard of it, but it doesn't matter what restaurant you work at. If there's, you're going home smelling like grease anyway. If you work in a fast food restaurant, it's unavoidable.
I managed to dodge I've never worked in the restaurant business at all. Fast food, regular restaurant, waiter, busboy, server.
You've been deprived.
My brother worked at McDonald's, I think, his last year in high school for a while. I somehow avoided that. I never had the pleasure of doing fast food or serving at a restaurant
that back,
or anything.
I have had a job wearing a tie.
Yeah, what was it?
Yep, YouTube. I wore a tie last Friday on my headphones.
You sure did. Clipped it right to your headphones.
Yep.
I'm trying to
off the old job bucket list.
I'm trying to think of a word that describes how that looked to see you on YouTube with a clip-on tie tied to your headphone. Trying to think
ridiculous.
No.
Stupid.
No.
Childish.
No.
Idiotic.
No.
Retarded.
No.
I'm out.
There would be a hashtag in front of the word, probably.
Oh, hashtag professional.
That's right. That was very professional.
Ding, 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 ding.
Very
what do we
professional.
have?
Listen, listen. It was no coincidence you had a tie laying around. Okay? Professional.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very,
I've
very
actually got like 4 of them laying around.
I believe
just
you.
for YouTube.
I believe you. That just goes to show how professional you are.
How dedicated I am to my part-time job.
Yeah.
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 One never knows what one will see when watching BBD TV.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
You're a poet, and you didn't
Rhyming,
know.
rhyming is my second profession.
Yeah. Well,
Now I just need to work on my bars.
Yeah, you got to keep the lights on. Whatever you got to do. Yeah. So baseball field, furniture store, the job at the Y, and then I guess by that time I was in college. And what did I do? So now some of these young bucks, BV, they don't know nothing about the video store, but me and you do. So what'd you have up there? I'm sure you had Blockbuster.
Yeah, we've actually still got a popcorn video here in town.
Okay. Did y'all have anything there called Movie Gallery?
No.
Okay.
No, the only thing Greenville had was Blockbuster was the only major chain, and they have a popcorn, and I think there was one other little mom and pop outfit.
Yeah. Of course, Blockbuster was the biggest. It was nationwide. I went to work. This would have been, I guess, after the thing at the Y while I was in college. I went to work at a place called Movie Gallery. It was just like a Blockbuster. It wasn't nationwide. It also wasn't local or mom and pop. It was regional. They were headquartered in Dothan, Alabama, I believe, and they were in 10 or 11 states, mostly the southeast type of deal. And I went to, and that's where it was right down the road. That's where we had been going there for years and years and years to rent movies. And I went in there one day, and I'd gotten to know a lot of the people that worked in there, over the years. And I mean, literally probably 10 years I was going. So from the time I was 8 or 9 years old till, at this time I was probably 18 or 19. And so I knew a lot of the people there. I knew the managers and stuff. Anyway, I went in there one day, and Hey, you need a job? Well, actually, yeah, I do. And back then, you actually had paper applications. So they gave me an application. I took it home, filled it out, turned it back in, basically started a week later or whatever. So I worked at the movie gallery there down the road from me. And now that was a great job. I loved that job. Now, it didn't pay anything. It was minimum wage or a little bit more. And minimum wage wasn't $7 back then. I think minimum wage then was maybe $5 an hour, $5.15. So I might have been making $5.50 or something. So you didn't make much back then. But that was a great job.
How old were you?
18 or 19. Maybe a year out of high school. That was a great job. The people I worked with were great. My manager was great. Pat was his name. He's probably still the best boss I've ever had of any job I've ever had. And I've had some good bosses. I've been pretty lucky in that regard, I guess. I haven't had very many bosses that I didn't get along with or anything like that, but this guy, Pat,
You ever
was
been
great.
a boss?
Yeah. Didn't work out.
Didn't work out?
Yeah.
Rob Dog, are you talking about the popcorn video? Is that what you're asking? Is it a store that rents DVDs? If you're asking about popcorn video, they do rent DVDs, and I swear I think they've even got some VHS in there they still rent out. Could be wrong about that. They may have sold them all off. We had a video store in town called Hurdy Gurdy Video that had the proverbial back room.
Oh, talk about that for a second while I go get a refill on this coffee. People don't know about the back room because they have the internet now.
It's true. And while you're getting some more coffee, I actually, now that I think about it, I think, don't hold me to this, but I think Jonesboro, Tennessee's oldest town, had a movie gallery. I think. I'm not sure. Do you guys that don't know what the back room is at a video store, hell, some of you probably don't even know what a video store is. The back room was where you could go in, and if you were 18, of course, you could go in and get your porn and whatnot. So yeah, that's the old proverbial back room. And I'm 99.9% sure Blockbuster didn't have the back room, but almost all of the little mom and pop places, had the back room. Don't know if we got any back rooms around here anymore, because like Lou said, we got the internet now. Who needs a back room? That's not necessarily true, Jordan, and don't you be telling me to shut up, young man. I'll Trevor Lawrence you. Now, some of you youngins don't even know what a bicycle is, or have never seen one at least. That's something you don't see anymore either, hardly, is kids riding around the neighborhood on bikes. You guys ever see that in your neighborhood? Now, this neighborhood here, the only guy I see riding around in a bike here has actually got a freaking motor on it. Sounds like a weed eater going up and down the road. That dude rides around. I'm assuming he's a Dewey victim that's rigged his bike up. Yeah, he's all over the place in that thing, though. All hours of the damn night, too. I'll hear him out here at 3 in the morning. Must be going to get another 12-pack somewhere. Well, I mean, you're in Florida, Celine. You got 90-year-olds down there that probably still ride bikes. So I don't know if you heard me, Uncle Lou, but I think the town up from me actually did have a movie gallery at one point.
Yeah, the movie gallery was something serious, I'm telling you. It was great. They didn't have a back room, though, but it was great. And when I got the job there, you know how when you're in school, you hate the food, but then when you get out,
Unless you're a fat kid,
you're like, man, I wish I could go back and have some of that good lunchroom pizza. We used to call it. Well, I'm not gonna say what we used to call it, but anyway. So when I got this job at this movie gallery, there was a lady that worked part-time there that was a lunch lady at the high school I went to.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, you got to get me some of that pizza. You know the one I'm talking about, the round ones. And she was like, oh, yeah, BVD. She used to bring in the movie gallery on the weekends. I mean,
You had this woman stealing from school, Lou. You ought to be
no,
ashamed.
it wasn't stealing. What they, whatever was left over at the end of the week, they would let these lunch ladies take home, and she would bring in amounts of pizza you've never seen before. It was ridiculous, and so we'd have pizza parties every weekend at the movie gallery. But it was a great job, and I did that for probably about 6 months, and then they made me assistant manager, which really meant nothing at movie gallery outside of the fact that I think you got a little bit of a raise and you got more hours, but in terms of responsibility, it wasn't.
And you got to tell some other little teenage schlub what to do.
Well, it's sort of, not really, but I did that for about 6 months, and then another movie gallery in town found itself without a manager, and the district manager came in and asked me if I wanted to manage that store, and I was like, yeah. I was like 20 years old. I was in college.
You were
freaking.
You were the man. You were the man.
Oh, BVD, they put me on salary. I was making every bit of $30,000. I was like, man, I am high on the hog here. I can get all the movies I want for free. I don't have to pay to rent these movies.
You mentioned the school pizza. I don't recall round school pizza. All the school pizza I remember was the rectangle, and we actually have some stores here, some convenience stores that still sell it.
We had the round, and we called it Mexican pizza, and I think it was because of the kind of cheese they put on there, but that's what we called it. So I don't. I hope that's not a. In my mind, when we were calling it Mexican pizza, it wasn't a. Anyway, sometimes things change, and now you're not allowed to say something you used to say. We weren't calling it Mexican pizza to make fun of Mexicans any type of way. It was a compliment. Right. I think that's actually what it was called. So I don't. Somebody will get mad anyway, but I think that's actually what it was
Mexican
called.
rice, and they have all kinds of Mexican stuff.
And because it wasn't like pepperoni pizza. In fact, there was no meat on it at all. And I think it was, how you can go to the store and buy Mexican blend cheese, like if you're going to make tacos or something. I think that's why we called it Mexican pizza, because it had those two or three different kinds of that cheese on there. But
how big around was it?
Was,
give me a comparison.
Let me.
Size of an old 45 record, maybe, or
like the. I don't know the sizes of records, but the small size of record, not the big size.
Yeah. So it was probably 6-8 inches.
Yeah. And man, it was good. It was floppy. It wasn't. It was really good. Anyway,
I don't know. We got some women in here that might not want to hear us talking about something 6 inches and floppy.
Well.
But yeah, we had. They used to have a pizza at the grocery store here. It was. I guess it was supposed to be like a Mexican pizza. It was a quesadilla pizza. Those things were awesome. Like you said, pop them in the microwave. They were floppy. They were good, no meat, just good stuff. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll go up here to the store and get a couple pieces of that school pizza. It doesn't taste, obviously, like it did back in school. It may just be the way they cook shit. A couple of years ago, man, I'd go get a whole frozen pizza from the place. You get like 8 slices of it and bring it home and cook it a couple pieces at a time. You got me wanting school pizza now, Lou. Thanks for that.
I know. I'm telling you. So, was it yesterday I told the story about heating up the hot dog in the microwave and hanging it out of your britches?
Yes, okay. It was yesterday.
So while all that was going on at that house that I lived in when I was going to college with 3 or 4 other guys, and all that crazy stuff was happening 24/7, that's the period of time when I was managing the movie gallery. And so I worked 45 hours a week. I worked 5 9-hour shifts a week, and I had to work 2 nights a week. So 3 days a week I would work like 8 to 5, and then 2 days a week I would have to work like 1 to 10. And it didn't take me long being manager of that movie gallery to get rid of all the people that were working there when I got there, and obviously, who did I go out and hire?
Your clique.
All my friends, BVD.
Yeah.
The worst decision I ever made in my entire life.
Nobody did shit.
That had to be the worst run retail store of any kind in the history of America. I couldn't get anybody to do anything. Nothing.
Yep.
because they all knew me as the guy over at this house that held a hot dog out of his pants at 2 a.m. and that was some of the stuff we did. Like I said, I can't even talk about on here because the statute of limitations hasn't ran out. But I couldn't get them to do it. If they showed up to work, that was a success for me. I couldn't. So I ended up having to do everything. Now, not that they were terrible workers or employees, and it really wasn't their fault. It's just if you ever find yourself in a position where you're hiring, do not go out and hire. I mean, I literally had a staff full of people that were my friends before I ever it was terrible. It was awful. And I took vacation one time. I guess I did that for about a year. I went on vacation. I took a week off. I didn't even go anywhere. I just took a week off of work, vacation time. And when I came back, it looked like, I can't describe to you what that store looked like. It was unrecognizable.
Probably like a college dorm room.
It was unrecognizable. Well, guess who decides to show up there my first day back, like an hour after the store opens? The district manager.
Of course.
She was like, what in the world? And blah, blah, blah. And she didn't fire. She didn't want to fire. She didn't want to fire me, but she wanted me to step down to assistant manager. And I said, nah, I'm good. I got up and walked out.
You just stepped all the way down, didn't you?
Yeah, I got up and walked out. But I didn't get along with her. I talked about how lucky I always was with bosses. And I was. When I was almost every job I've had, I've gotten along with my manager or boss, whoever it was. But when I was a manager there, I did not get along with the district manager at all. And I think she was kind of looking for. I don't think she liked me that much. I don't know why, but she's the one that hired me as manager. But for whatever reason, she didn't like me all that much, and so she came in that day. I said, this is. I think I told her. I said, this is bullshit. I've been gone for a week, and you come in first thing in the morning, the day I come back, and complain that the store's a mess. I said, that's not. I said, I see what's going on here. I don't need to be assistant manager for you. I'm not going to do that. You just fire me.
You're right, Rack Dog. He says friends make the worst employees, but sometimes employees end up making some of the best friends. I don't know if you guys, the ones of you that come to my streams.
True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm still.
The ones of you that come to my streams at night might recognize this guy named Greg. That's at Greg Metcalf. He's in a lot of my streams at night, and I've talked about when I was in charge of hiring the delivery drivers at the pizza place. I hired him one day basically without even interviewing him. He walked in and he had a Tennessee t-shirt on that said, I forget what it said, but it was basically making fun of the Gators. And he came in, and I thought he was coming in to order a pizza. And he said, can I get an application? And I said, what are you applying for? And he said, delivery driver. And I said, you're hired. He's like, huh? I said, I love that shirt, dude. And we've been friends ever since. Great dude. So sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, I'm still friends with a lot of people that I only know because I worked with them somewhere. But and I'm still friends with the people that I hired that were already my friends when I was at that movie gallery 20-something years ago. It's not like now it could have been worse. It could have went so bad that it ruined our friendship or whatever. And that wasn't the case. I'm still friends with almost all those. I mean, I don't. Some of them have moved and things like that, but so it wasn't terrible. But yeah, so that was the end of the movie gallery thing. But that was a fun job to have. I mean, back then, think about how often you watch Netflix now, or how often you watch something on demand now. That didn't exist. I mean, literally everyone went to the movie store, and you knew the people that worked there. Like, it sounds silly to say now, like that the movie store would be a good job or whatever, but like people, like if you worked at the movie store, like people knew you. Like that's like you were the movie store guy. Oh yeah, I know him. He's the movie store guy.
Right.
And it was a fun job. I mean, I liked that job. I mean, new movies came out on Tuesday every week, but the stores would get them in on Friday before that, and we couldn't put them out on the shelf till Tuesday, but we were allowed to take them home over the weekend. Yeah. So like if a chick flick or something was coming out, You know, you could get the girls over to your house that weekend to watch the movie 3 days early for a price, of course.
Bad Dog, you've been married long enough now that you've probably gone back to calling it getting lucky. He said he always liked getting lucky. Just the fact that you said I always liked getting lucky tells me that you've been married for a while now, sir.
God, that was a fun job. Video game. I mean, you know, you would go rent video games back then too. So like same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rent a video, whatever.
Sounds like you enjoyed that job as much as I enjoyed the pizza delivery.
For those of you that are mine and BBD's age, do you remember how hard it was to go to the movie store and rent that one game that you wanted to rent? Like there was always that one game that was hot at the time. And
always gone.
Do you know why? It was always at my house. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. You're thinking
an employee had it every single time.
Yeah. Same with the movies, man. I mean, I can remember going to Blockbuster, couldn't wait for a movie to come out, and they'd have like 9,000 copies of it, and they're all gone.
Yeah.
You know, and they'd be gone for like a month. You're like, damn it, man. What are these people? They line up in the morning waiting.
Yeah, that was a fun job. I liked that job. That was a good job to have for me at that age. Like I said, it wasn't a ton of money. You weren't going to get rich working there, but being in college, I mean, what was my salary? I can't remember what my salary exactly was, but like after taxes, every 2 weeks, I was making about $800. So it's not like I was making a lot of money, and that was as store manager. Every 2 weeks, I would make about $800 after taxes and insurance. So I might have been making $1,100 every 2 weeks, which is
I never had a job.
22. So maybe I was making. Maybe I was making 25 or 30,000 a year, something like that. And then as manager, there was certain bonuses you could get if your store hit certain sales goals and all this kind of thing. But as far as base salary, I think it was only 25, 30,000. So it wasn't a lot of money. But I was a college student renting a house with 3 or 4 other people. That was a lot of money to me at the time, you know.
I never had a job making salary. I mean, I guess technically you could call living off a disability salary because I get the same amount every month. I wouldn't call it salary. It's more like celery.
It has advantages, but the thing is, once you go on salary, they work the dog shit out of you because there's no overtime then.
You can count 60 to 80 hours pretty much, can't you?
I mean, I was scheduled 45 hours a week, but the thing is, especially in that environment, I mean, we only had 5 or 6 employees. So, like, let's say Friday I'm scheduled to work 9 to 5, right? And then you got maybe 3 people that are scheduled to work at night. Well, one of those people calls in. Guess what? I'm there all day, you know. So, and in those types of jobs, you have a lot of like high school junior and seniors who want to work there, college, you know, that age, and you know, something comes up for them on a Friday night, they have no problem calling into their movie gallery job, you know. So there was a lot of times people would call in and have to work double shifts, and you know, movie gallery didn't care because it didn't cost them anything. You know, they just pay your salary. But that was a fun job though. We had a lot of fun there. It went side. You know, I made bad hiring decisions, but that was a fun job though. And then after that is when I got my first job ever in the cell phone industry, and then I did that from that point on until I started doing YouTube.
I don't even know that you'd call it a job. God, I can't even remember the damn name of the place. It was a cell phone thing, but it was more like selling time, phone cards instead of.
Oh yeah.
God, what's the name of that place? That sucked too. I did that part time actually when I was delivering pizzas, and I thought, well, this would be good. I can try and sell these things while I'm out delivering pizzas. Not.
Yeah.
People are just like, I don't want your damn card. Just give me my damn pizza. Here's your 50 cents. Get out of my face.
What was you might have said this one time before when you were talking about your pizza delivery stuff, but what's the biggest single tip you ever got delivering a pizza?
$212.
Now, what? There's got to be a reason or a story behind that.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally like the first couple of weeks I was working at this place. We had just closed. It was snowing like crazy. There was already 6, 7 inches of snow on the ground, and these guys called. They had literally just gotten to their cabin, and they were starving and they were dying for something to eat, and they wanted 4 large pepperoni pizzas. And the guy that was the manager, he took the call, and I heard him. No, we just closed. We're not blah 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 blah. And I said, Joe, ask them what they want. He asked them. They said 4 large pizzas. I could hear him talk. I could hear them talking through the phone, and they said, we'll give you $22 a piece for the pizzas. Joe looked at me and he's like, you want to take them? I was like, hell yeah, I'll take them. They said they tip good. So the order was $88. I took them. By the time I got to this place, man, I'm not kidding you. We were close to 10 inches of snow on the ground, and I was in a 2-wheel drive Nissan truck. Barely made it up to the damn cabin. I got out and I took them their pizzas. They handed me what I thought was $100 bill, said keep the change. I started walking back to the car, and they were $300 bills there. I turned around, I went back, and I was knocked on the door, and I was like, look, I don't know if you guys meant to give me this or not, but there's $300 bills here. The dude's like, yeah, man, keep them. Just keep the change, dude. That was intentional. We appreciate you risking your life to come out here.
Oh my God.
I was like, holy shit.
Anytime, sir.
Yeah, call me tomorrow if you need some more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I had quite a few $50 tips and tons of $20 tips and stuff like that. But that was the only time I ever got over $100. And then, of course, there was the whole cabin thing. That didn't count.
Eric Johnson says his first year at UGA, he was a custodian. The student slid an envelope under his door. He opened it, and it was a card and $120 inside.
Nice.
That's something serious.
I never kept up with what I made at that pizza place in a year's time, but I mean, I had to be making, I'm just going to guess 70, 80 grand a year there. Easy. I mean, we killed it in the summertime, but we'd go blow all of our damn money. Me and a couple of my buddies, we once that Cherokee casino opened, it was over. I was basically working just to go pay the Indians.
Oh, God. How far away were you from that place again?
Hour and 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, so not far.
Yeah. I mean, we'd get off at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and
Head
leave
straight there.
with our money, go across the mountains. Sometimes we'd be there an hour and lose it all. Sometimes we'd be there all night, so almost time to go to work the next day.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, a lot of stupidity, but I could have really saved some money back then if I'd have been using my head.
Well, you had fun,
I've
though.
made a career out of not doing that.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one.
What do you think, Lou? Caller a day, caller a week?
Yeah, it's Friday. Why not knock off? A lot of people knock off early on Friday,
Yeah, we might as well knock off early. It's been a rough week.
Yeah. It has been rough. Anyway, appreciate all you guys tuning in this week. Great time. We'll do it 5 days again next week. I still have a lot of fun on this show. It may get to the point where I come sit down out here and go, you know what? I just don't have anything else to talk about. But so far that point hasn't come. I came out here today and sat down and I said, oh, worst job ever. And we spent an hour and a half talking about it. So as long as that continues to happen, I have a great time on these morning shows, and we're managing to mix a little football in here and there too, which
Yeah, we can always come up with something to talk about.
which is hard to do. NICKDTV, make sure you let us know if that April 13th date will work for you, and we'll get you.
I think he said yes. I went ahead and put him down for the 13th.
Okay,
and
good.
Come on over to BBD TV tonight, 8 o'clock. I'm gonna let Nick co-host with me over there tonight.
Oh, you're good people, BBD.
So we'll have some fun. I'm sure we'll talk about some kind of couch burning or something. We'll come up with something to talk about.
Yeah.
I go into these shows basically now with no plan, just go turn the microphone on most of the time and just go.
Yeah, I really wanted some couch burning stories, but we'll have to wait till the 13th to get them here. But we'll get some tonight on BVD TV. All right, BVD, any last words? I'll let you go.
Nope, you guys have a great weekend. See you tonight. Be safe, of course, and pray for my daughter's stepdad that he gets good news today.
Yeah, keep me. Let me know if you hear anything on that too. I don't like.
I
I
will.
don't like bothering you like every hour. Like, hey, have you heard any? I don't want to be that person, but
I got you.
I am concerned. So keep, if you hear something, let me know.
As soon as I hear, I'll let you know, buddy.
All right, buddy. Have a good weekend.
All right, you
All right.
guys have a great one.
All right, appreciate you guys tuning in. A lot of you were in here this morning. I had almost 80-something people in here at one point. 70 of you are here now. But so Randall Anderson, good morning. Mr. Anderson. Richard Holton, Kevin Cook, Cousin Big Dog, Eric Johnson, Mr. MVP, Jerome Pruitt, Rob Dog, Dago, Jordan Bowman, Rack Dog, Christy, Jeff Webster, Melissa May, Snake Spence, Slim Mosley, Matt Dummett. Appreciate all you guys tuning in this morning. Remember, no matter how bad your job is, me and BVD probably had even worse jobs. And look at us now. So there's hope for anybody, right? Anyway, I hope y'all have a great weekend. Remember to stay safe if you can. Find some stuff to watch on Netflix or whatever. Take it easy this weekend. Don't get out in no big crowds, that kind of thing. Just be careful. Don't want anything to happen to any of y'all or anybody that you any of your friends and family, anything like that. So be safe. Find something to do inside this weekend. And we'll be back next week, Monday through Friday. Again, and that's that. I love you guys, and I will see you very, very soon. Have a good morning.